Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Wild Magic Barbarian build guide for in Baldur's Gate 3. Now the Berserker Barbarian is the most popular one, but that doesn't mean that the Wild Magic Barbarian is not good as well. So I think a lot of the slander comes from the Wild Magic Sorcerer, as it's not that great, but the Wild Magic Barbarian has some really unique, interesting combinations that you can go with, and it's unpredictable. So we're going to go with the Barbarian here to start, and getting into our ability score. Now, early on in the game, you get a decent bit of strength potions. I would recommend dumping strength because there's a very large amount of those potions around. If not, you can keep your strength relatively high. We'll look at something along the lines of high constitution, high dexterity, and high strength. But if we're dumping our strength, that means we can put it into other areas. So we can take our strength down a bit, as we're going to be using strength potions or the strength gauntlets. But those stats that I showed you earlier, if you're not going to go that route, I think it's best to go with our constitution like that. 17 constitution, 16 dexterity, and then we're going to put the rest of it into our intelligence and wisdom. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. This is a pretty heavy in terms of the stat required. It's a multi-attribute dependent, or a MAD for short, but we're going to go with something like that there. So that's it for the Barbarian, and that's level 1. So we're going to get some interesting combinations here. I will talk a little bit about the gear at the end, so stay tuned for that. But as we get into things, we're going to get our level 2 here, which gives us a reaction, danger sense, when things, you sense when things are as they should be. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against trap spells and surfaces, and then we get a reckless attack action there, which until your next turn, you have advantage on attack rolls, but enemies will also have advantage against you, so it can be useful in certain instances. Now, as we get to level 2, this is when we get to choose our subclass. So, the Wild Magic Barbarian gives us Rage Wild Magic. This is unpredictable. I'll go over the different things that you can get with this as well, because there are a lot of different options. There are a lot of different things that can happen when you go this route, so it can be quite interesting, but as far as the wild action goes, we get ourselves Magic Awareness 2, which adds a proficiency bonus to saving throws against spells. That's a bonus action that lasts one turn, so can be quite nice. But as the Wild Magic Barbarian, that's what we get there. We get additional rage charge as well. And some of the things that we can look to see here as far as wild magic goes, I guess I can switch this over to show this off. So we get a bolt. You can get Bolt of Light, which shoot a bolt of light from your chest that blinds the targets for one turn and does 1 to 6 radiant damage. There's also Dark Tendrils, which is shadowy tendrils lash out around you, sucking the life of all creatures within 9 meters, dealing a 1d12 necrotic damage on failed Constitution save, granting you 1 to 12 temporary health. You get Intangible Spirit, which is kind of funny. You get to summon a Spectral Flump. This is the only way you can get a flump in the game, so that's kind of cool. But unfortunately, at the end of your turn, it explodes, dealing 1d6 force damage to each creature that fails a dex save. So that's pretty funny of wild magic. You also have Magic Retribution, which enemies that hit you take 1d6 force damage in retaliation. There's Protective Lights. You and any allies within 3 meters have +1 to armor class. That's quite nice. Teleport. This is what I think to be the best for my whenever I've played as this. As a bonus action each turn, you can teleport up to 18 meters to an unoccupied space that you can see. So you pretty much just get Misty Step, but a little bit better. That's really nice. We also got the Vine Growth there. So the ground within 5 meters of you is difficult terrain for everyone other than you having movement speed. That can be just fair. And then Weapon Infusement. Your equipped weapon deals an additional 1d6 force damage and gains a light and thrown properties. If thrown, it immediately reappears in your hand. So this has some really nice synergy with Tavern Brawler. So for that, we're going to continue on. And then for our feat, we're going to take either ability improvement and take our constitution and dexterity up. But I do think that the best way to go about this is by taking Tavern Brawler to bump our constitution up to 18. So with Tavern Brawler, when you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon, or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. So that means if you're using the strength potions or the strength gauntlets, you're never going to miss, because you're going to have a +8 to your attack rolls, and that pretty much guarantees you don't miss. And then also you double it gives you a lot of damage. So we're going to go with that, because Tavern Brawler can be quite powerful, and I think it fits the build very well. So at level 5, we get ourselves another extra attack. This doesn't stack with the other attacks, so the only way you can get 3 attacks is if you add in Warlock Pact to the Blade, not on Honor mode. But we also get an increased 3 meters movement when not wearing heavy armor, so we're not wearing heavy armor for the purposes of this. We're going to be wearing the light armor, and preferably the armor that I got in here, the bone garb armor, which is quite powerful. But as we get into our level 6, this is when we get the bolstering magic boon. So you can use this to give you or an ally a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls and ability checks. That's really nice to have, because that can be very powerful in melee, but also ability checks is nice to have that boost too. You also get bolstering magic level 1 spell slots, so you can recover yourself or an ally's level 1 spell slot, which is really nice. And then we also get the level 2 version of this too. So outside of combat, this can be really great for buffing up if you have sorcerers or other magic users on your team. Just gives them more options for spells that they can cast. And then we also get a level 3 version later on. At level 7, we get Feral Instincts, so you have honed your instincts to the utmost degree. You gain a +3 to initiative and can't be surprised. So this is pretty much like a weaker version of Alert, as Alert gives +5 to initiative, but can't be surprised is huge, because sometimes that can be a ending for honor mode people. Not that I would recommend using this class on honor mode. There's better classes for this. Next, we get another ability improvement. So I think that the best way to go about doing this is to bump up our constitution. Giving us more health is really nice. And then also we get some more armor class out of that, because we give ourselves, well, that's where we base our armor class from. So that could be quite nice. We could also increase the dexterity there. That's another option you can go with, but I think it's best to just continue with the constitution. Next, we get bonus brutal critical, so you're trained to strike swift and true when you land a critical hit. You roll an extra damage die as well as a net normal additional critical die. So more damage on crits, always good by me. You get bolstering magic level 3 spell slots, so you can recover a level 3 spell slot. This means that your sorcerers can do another fireball or another call lightning, which is really nice to have. And our health continues to increase. At level 10, this is where we get unstable backlash. When enraged, when you take damage or fail a saving throw, you trigger another wild magic that replaces the current one. So yeah, this just gets this more unpredictable, which can be fun, I will admit. The reason you would want to take the Wild Magic Barbarian is for fun. You don't take this because it's the best class in the game, because it's definitely not, but it's fun. At level 11, we get the Relentless Rage once per short rest. If you drop to 0 health points while enraged, you gain 1 health point instead of being downed. So that keeps you alive longer, which is really nice. You have to be enraged for that to occur, but you're going to be raging most of the time while you're in this form. So yeah, that is quite nice. For our final level, we're going to get ourselves another feat and another rage charge too. So for this, there's a few different ones that I would recommend. I'm a big fan of Savage Attacker. When making melee weapon attacks, you roll your damage die twice and use the highest result. That can be pretty nice. You can also take the magic initiative to get yourself some spells if you want, but I think that it's better to go with something like the Savage Attacker, Sentinel to use a reaction. Sentinel and Polearm Master are two really great feats. I really like Sentinel because that gives you the ability to use a reaction to attack an enemy in nearby area. You can also go with something like ability improvement. Increasing your dexterity is quite nice, but I think that it's better to go with something like I guess you could also, if you're using a heavy weapon, you can go with Great Weapon Master, but Savage Attacker being one of the best ones there. It's just really nice. Sharpshooter could be good too if you're using double crossbows, because that'll give you a +10 to attack but -5 to the attack rolls. Sentinel, it's up to you. Savage Attacker or Sentinel, whatever you find that you're needing at this point in the game. I like Sentinel because that gives you that Sentinel Vengeance, make a melee attack if an enemy attacks your teammate. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, it can no longer move for the rest of its turn, so you shut that down, and then you have advantage on opportunity attack. So that can be pretty nice for level 12 feat. Now, getting into things, we're going to be raging a lot, and leave it a target, possibly knocking it prone. For gear options, I think that there's some really great barbarian armor here. So Bone Spike Helmet. When you rage, hostile creatures within 3 meters radius must succeed a wisdom saving throw or take 2d4 psychic damage. Targets receive half damage on a save, and it gives you increased intimidation. We're rolling with a steady 19 armor class, which is quite nice. +5 from Constitution, the unarmored defense, +3 from Dexterity, and then +1 from Evasive Instinct. So I'm going to go over two different options for gear. We have the Bone Spike Garb here, which you gain +15 temporary health points whenever you rage, and then reduce all incoming damage by 2. When the wearer is struck by a melee attack, the attacker takes 5 piercing damage. So that's nice, just to return to sender. We also got the bone spike gloves here. Exoskeleton reinforcement. Your attacks ignore resistance to slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage. So if a creature has resistance to those damage types, it's going to take half damage. We can ignore that with the bone spike gloves. Then the bone spike boots. +1 to armor class as long as you're not wearing armor or holding a shield. And then we get that brutal leap, which gives us the refined vaulting, jump distance increase 1.4 meters, and then brutal leap is just a bonus action that uses 3 meters of our movement speed, and it can knock a creature prone. So that's quite nice. I also like the killer sweetheart because we have those enhanced criticals, and this is going to give us a critical hit if you kill a creature. Also, the surgeon subjugation amulet gives you a critical. When you hit a critical, you can also paralyze the target. And then the caustic band just to add an additional 2 damage. It's a nice damage rider. I like the Gaunter Mail too because this is just a good bow, but it also gives you Celestial Haste. So if you use that, you can give yourself Hastened, which is really powerful. And then also on top of that, Baldur's Great Giant Slayer, which since we're going to be using the Strength Potions, we'll show you what that looks like. So that takes our Baldur's Greatsword to 23 to 33 damage. Giant Slayer, on a hit, double the damage from your Strength modifier. This weapon grants you advantage on attack rolls against large, huge, or gargantuan enemies. And then we also have the giant form, so you can take the form of a giant, which is really nice, giving you 27 temporary health points and advantage on strength saving throws and checks. The Baldur's Greatsword's great, but also we can go with something like the Sharpened Snare Curious, which gives you your full dexterity modifier to your armor class. So if we put that on, plus the gloves of dexterity, I guess that doesn't end up making it any better. So yeah, the bone spike garb's a bit better. I guess since this is a medium armor, you do lose that option, but the bone spike gloves will deal more damage, whereas the dexterity gloves allow you to dump your dexterity and still have high dexterity. And you can also go with the strength gauntlets that you can get in Act 3 as well. But yeah, the Wild Magic Barbarian is an interesting barbarian. We can't use the rage right now to show you what that would look like, but it's random, unpredictable, and a whole lot of fun. So if you have any questions about this build, please leave them in the comments below. I'll get to them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll see you in the next video.